design is my passion. I don't have slides, I'm just going to show you around my brain as diagrammed here. I am talking about a piece called Tetraphoning, which I like to describe as a love letter to Sudoku, but also kind of a, intersection of art, technology, East Asian numerology, knowing that you're gonna die one day, Sudoku, K-pop bands that I really like, but don't exist anymore. So let's dive into it. So today is January 4th. Happy New Year, everyone. Also, liminally, like kind of the year of the horse, but not, still the snake. But people like to move, so whatever. 4 is like actually a really, really, really super important number to this piece. It also, is super, like conspiracy theory, kind of coded, has a lot of connections to death in East Asian culture. Like in many, many, many East Asian languages, including Vietnamese, which, shout out Vietnamese people, if you're in the audience, I love you. Like the word for the, also, kind of sounds like the, which means death. So if you go to East Asia, many times there will not be a 4th floor, kind of like how we don't have, like 13 floors or whatever. And so death in East Asian culture, unfortunately, has been all around us. It has caused intergenerational trauma and struggle and, a lot of like mental stuff that I still unfortunately, struggle with, a lot to this day. But, I think that for me, one thing that's really helped, and, this is not medical advice, people say, horses, psychedelics, but, one thing that I personally really love, just to, get, my mind off things, is, very simple puzzles like Sudoku. If you don't know, there is, scientific evidence that, things like Tetris and Sudoku and puzzles actually, have a really, really, really great mental, health effect on people with PTSD. So this is, kind of where the love letter to Sudoku comes in. Also, kind of tangential related to death in East Asian culture. I don't know if any of y'all listen to the band, the K-pop group New Jeans. Love them. New Jeans never die. That's where kind of the name tetraphoning came from. Tetraphobia X phoning. Without further ado, I'd love to get into the demo. So yeah, very cool. So tetraphoning is kind of as I said before, a love letter to Sudoku. So instead of a 3x3 grid, you have a 4x4 grid because 4 equals death. And every kind of it's kind of like a puzzle generator. Everything here is kind of it's actually a solvable Sudoku. So if I turn off all the emojis, you actually have numbers. So instead of the 0 through 9 like you would in regular Sudoku, you have 1 through 16, and instead of because 16 isn't really a number, I'm using hexadecimal here. And you can also draw here. So I have a bunch of presets, but you can also kind of draw the canvas too. And yeah, it's kind of just infinite grid of possibilities. If you're kind of into it, there's a little gallery of stuff that people have started to make with tetraphoning. But yeah, kind of big little passion project of mine. I'll be demoing over